Welcome to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast. Today on this show, it's the All Firing Show. With me once, as always, I am your host, The Mind, and with me, as always, my co-host, The Body.
Interesting footnote to this episode. As we recorded, it is on a Tuesday. And if you get employment insurance in Canada, Tuesday happens to be your payday. Happy Firing Edition of the Body and Mind Podcast.
Happy Firing Edition. Yes, sir. Today's show is jam-packed with all kinds of people that we want to see fired. That if we had the power, we would fire every single one of these people ourselves. We do it now.
We have coaches, we have executives, we have owners, we even have fans.
And players. We're firing everyone. No one is spared. No league is spared. We have hockey, football, soccer, wrestling. We're all over the map.
We're clearing out all inventory.
Everyone must go.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's start some firing. So, I'm going to start first because, as you mentioned, today was Tuesday, and for soccer fans, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are usually Champions League match days.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, today my beloved team, Benfica from Portugal, had their latest Champions League face plant, Ric Flair-style face plant, where they went into Germany with all kinds of hope and confidence and took a 5-1 beatdown right up the
Well put.
Thank you.
There's going to be a lot of
oh yeah, and then the beep and the beep beep and the beep. So 5-1, the latest beatdown for Benfica today against Bayern Munich. It's like, fine, you go into Germany, you lose, that's one thing. But the other day, a team called Dusseldorf. What?
Dusseldorf?
Who?
Dusseldorf?
Yeah, Dusseldorf. They went into Dusseldorf. What kind of a name is that? I won't even live there. A team called Dusseldorf, who are like dead last in the German league, who are basically one of these teams that just bounce up and down between first and second division. They went to Bayern Munich and they barely lost 3-2. They actually scored goals. They actually made a game of it. No, Benfica goes in there and kaboom, 5-1.
Punched right in the face.
And they've been punched in the face more and more now. They're like a punch-drunk boxer now.
You can't lead with your face.
And yet they are. It's like a Rocky movie. Defense has no place here.
No.
So they're losing in they're out of the Champions League again 2 years in a row. They're losing in the Portuguese league. They're barely scraping by against teams of like high school kids. So essentially, as much as I would like to fire the entire team, I'll stick with the coach, whose name, ironically, is Rui Vitória, which Vitória in Portuguese, ironically, means victory. Not happening here. So Rui Victory
should be fired for not living up to his name.
You got to go. You're fired. So that's number one on the list.
And it's an extensive one today.
Oh, yeah. So now that I got that out of the way, now that my favorite team's coach is fired, hopefully by tomorrow, let's go to the NFL. There's a few people there what need firing.
Oh, boy. And both our favorite teams.
Oh, let's start off with mine, shall we?
Oh, we shall, because I agree with you on yours. Oh,
actually, we got a 2-for-1 special here.
Oh, yes. I added the second one to your awareness, and I think you strongly agree.
Actually, no, it's a 3-for-1. Oh, my goodness. Threesome.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That's right.
I forgot our first owner to go.
We're starting off with the Cincinnati Bengals, where we want Marvin Lewis,
Hugh Jackson,
and, of course, the owner himself, Mike Brown. All three got to go. Hugh Jackson's already been fired once. And
was it like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
He's ready again.
And if Baker Mayfield has anything to do with it, you fire him again right now. I think he basically fired him from ever handshaking him again.
Yes. That went extremely well.
And you thought that was okay?
The handshake thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the deal there. I could care less.
Yeah,
I really. I mean, considering some of the stuff Baker Mayfield did in college, I mean, the handshake's no big deal.
That's true. This is pretty tame.
This is tame.
Pretty tame.
He didn't grab his crotch this time or anything.
No, I dare say he won't even do that to Hugh either.
No, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's step up in the world for our boy Baker.
Yeah, so Hugh, you don't like Hugh just because, he's the defensive. Well, he's sort of kind of the special assistant to the defensive coach.
Okay, here's why Hugh has to go.
I think that's his title.
Yeah, something like that. So I understand his background's in offense.
Oh, but that makes sense. Put him on defense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Now, generally, that would be a sarcastic statement. But going against his old team they coached like 2 weeks ago, you'd think, hey, he should have an idea how to stop this offense.
That can change in 2 weeks.
Well, he helped put it together.
Man can change in 2 weeks.
Man can change in 2 weeks. Hey, he should know the weaknesses of this unit. He should know what stopped him while he was there. But, with all this expertise of how to stop his old offense, his former rookie quarterback has his best day as a pro against him. Good job, Hugh.
So he can't even stop himself.
He can't even stop himself. Hugh Jackson is just unstoppable. He just keeps losing, and you just can't hold him back.
Pray that his brakes on his car will always work.
Well, the best was last week when the talk started for the second time in the last couple years that Marvin Lewis wants him to replace him as head coach when he moves to the front office.
Attaboy, Marvin. Decision-making getting better and better. That's like me going up to Mike Tyson naked and calling him a wuss. Thinking.
This is the last time I'm telling you to put pants on.
So Hugh Jackson's got to go just because he can't beat himself. Marvin Lewis has got to go because 16 years, 0 victories. That's enough.
But you can't surpass 0. That's madness.
Yeah, and he hasn't been able to. He's definitely at 0 forever. And of course, Mike Brown, who thought that after 15 years of epic fail, that the best idea is to renew the contract of this very same coach for another 2 years.
And let him bring back the guy who's an epic fail to work under him.
Absolutely. The guy who actually went 0-16. That's who we want.
That's who your successor should
That's
be.
my successor. Well done, Mike Brown. So yeah, Marvin Lewis, Mike Brown, Hugh Jackson, you're fired. Oh yeah.
That was purely unintentional, but I had to let it out. But it pretty much echoed it wrapped up the whole Cincinnati situation.
Well, now that we're done with Cincinnati, I have a question. What do you call it when you take an up-and-coming, promising young team and you strip it of all its gold, of all its heart and all its hope and best players?
The Oakland Raiders?
No, John Gruden.
Whoa, yes.
So, you're not a fan of Gruden now?
I thought it was a good idea when he was there. The one question, and I had a bit of a question about this, but not much, was just whether he'd fallen behind in the game. But I thought he'd be okay. Mm-hmm. What I didn't expect him to be was a tyrant when it came to player evaluation and getting rid of players. The 3 base players of the best young franchise in the NFL, debatably, Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Khalil Mack. His team struggled last year, but 2 years ago was a serious contender to maybe make a championship run if Carr doesn't get hurt.
Team on the rise that everyone thought for sure would be a championship contender either last year, for sure this year.
Yeah, last year was maybe their step back year, which sometimes happens.
Yep.
But step back here wasn't good enough for John Gruden. He had to come in. Solid base. We have a good foundation? Nope, we need to blow up the foundation. What? Khalil Mack? We got to trade him for draft picks. I don't think we could afford to sign him. Yeah, you probably could have. Would have been tight, but you could have done it. And then, what's he talked about a few weeks later? Well, it's hard to find a good pass rusher. Especially when you trade him away. Yeah, it's hard to find a good pass rusher.
Yeah.
Then they trade Amari Cooper, which I know some people were for. I was kind of on the fence about because he'd been disappointing for a year and a half in Oakland. But it looks like the change of scenery is doing him good now that he's out of Dallas, which makes you wonder, was it Amari Cooper or just the atmosphere in Oakland? Because the thing about the Mac trade is it didn't just mess up the defense, it messed up team morale.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and given that Mac and the starting QB were like actual like friends on the team.
Yeah, when your best offensive player and your best defensive player are best friends, I think the last time I heard something anywhere relative like close as Brett Favre and Reggie White.
Yeah, and they did all right.
Yeah, I don't know if they're best friends, but like of a rapport between best offensive player and defensive player that tight, or even close to it. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So, Gruden decides to blow that up. Yeah, well done.
Well done, John Gruden. Oh, my Lord. Only 9.5 more years of this to go.
Oh, boy.
Yay. Well, how about Joyzy? New York Jets. You think their coach should be fired?
Yeah, Todd Bowles. I'm not seeing... I know they don't have the greatest talent they're building, but I don't know, seeing him get blown out by Buffalo with Matt Barkley a couple weeks ago, 41-10, it was just like, that to me was like, maybe I'm putting too much on one game, but that one concerns me. So, that one really concerns me.
So after being there for 3 seasons now, and having a 3-8 record, this is not inspiring you?
No.
Having a net point of -60, this doesn't inspire you?
No.
What if I told you that their home record was 2-4?
No.
No? Nothing here is inspiring you.
No.
All right. What if I told you they're 0-5 in their last 5?
No.
No. Thanks for coming out, Todd Bowles. You got to go.
Consistency isn't always a good thing. It depends what you're consistently doing.
Well, if he continues up his current consistency, he'll be consistently getting an unemployment check.
At least he's consistently better than Hugh Jackson.
Ooh, speaking of Jacksonville.
Ooh, we talked about this team, and I was kind of wondering at first about the defensive coordinator because I think it should be a more basic plan. The defense has played well. You were bearing out some numbers earlier. Considering Doug Marrone for a moment, but I'm thinking let's maybe let the offensive line get healthy next year and stuff and see if they get a quarterback first. But it'll be kind of interesting to see how they attack this in the offseason, whether there is a change or whether they stay the ship. That one's kind of up in the air for me now.
All right, so Doug Marrone gets a stay of execution.
Yes.
Because, I know that definitely the defense has gotten some criticism for not being as dominant as people expected. However, the stats show that they have the 8th best defense in the league, at least as far as points against, which in the end, I think that's the main stat for a defense, is how many points do you allow? So I know some people say, oh, but they allow so many yards. I could care less about yards. You can allow all the yards you want. If at the end of the game, all you allow a team is 3 field goals, you're a good defense. So they're the 8th best team in the league. So literally only 7 teams have fewer points allowed. So they're a top 10 defense, but they have an abysmal offense.
Oh, they do.
That despite being number 8 in the league in defense, their net points is -46.
Fire Blake Bortles?
Fire Blake Bortles and, well, definitely Bortles. And probably get some receivers.
Receivers would help.
And probably fire the receivers coach and the quarterback coach and pretty much anybody to do with the offense.
Yeah. One thing, too, is I think they're a bit too predictable in their play calling, too. They're talking about this week when I watched a bit of that game at the end. And apparently whenever they go into a zone, they just check it down.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you want to take what they give you, but if you're just going to check it down all the time, they're just going to zone up on you in 3rd and long.
Exactly.
Zones do turn into man-to-man after a while.
Yeah.
So if a team's going to go 3 deep and give you time, someone's going to be one-on-one down the field.
Yeah, so Marrone, you got a stay of execution, but we're watching you. Both eyes on you. How about we go to Green Bay? Is somebody there that needs to be fired?
Oh, yeah. I think there's a couple people that need to go.
Ooh, here we go. 2 for 1. I like this.
2 for 1.
On a roll. This firing thing is fun. especially when
Mike
it's not me.
McCarthy's been a good head coach for years. There's been some questionable decisions, but
I'd fire him.
But I think his time has come. His time has come in Green Bay.
His time would have come last week if it was me. I'd fire him. Fire.
Yeah, his time has come. Not just has his time come,
Mm-hmm.
I also think you have to look at the general manager there.
General manager or their department of scouting, whoever's responsible for scouting.
Brian Guttencuster, however you pronounce it.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. Looks like he should be in the Civil War or something.
No, he was just hired. I don't know. He's the new GM, so maybe we should give him more of a chance. So maybe we should look into scouting. Maybe we shouldn't be too quick on Guttenkust here.
We'll fire the entire scouting staff.
Yeah, let's go with the scouting staff. Because the thing with Green Bay, they don't go after free agents.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't go after free agents, drafting is at an absolute premium. And it hasn't turned out in Green Bay.
Oh, their drafting is abysmal.
Yes, it is. Their Ron Wolf days are long gone in Green Bay. They keep drafting defensive backs who keep getting burnt.
Mm-hmm.
They keep drafting wide receivers who don't do much. I know we talked a couple of weeks ago about the Aaron Rodgers Tom Brady comparison, mm-hmm. and I still go with Brady as the GOAT of all time. But I think if Rodgers has a better supporting cast, this is a much closer argument for him.
Oh yeah,
I still go with Brady because even though you can make the case, because it hasn't been every year hasn't been like this for Rodgers. He's had better supporting casts, but right now it's like really the fact they haven't won on the road. Come on,
it's just consistently year after year. The draft picks that they take, first round picks, they just never play for them.
No.
Like, it's amazing. Like, yeah, no, definitely epic fail. McCarthy,
so McCarthy and the scouting staff.
You've got to go. All right, we fired them both in Green Bay. How about in Tampa Bay? Anybody there you want to fire?
Man, I've been calling out Dirk Cutter for ages. For ages. They fired Mike Smith earlier in the year as defensive coordinator. Remember, I was calling him out for his bland zone eyes. I think I went on a rampage about that. Just playing pure zone all the time.
Oh, but their defense is so much improved.
Oh, is it?
Oh, they only allow 338 points against.
Wow.
Which, how many teams have more worse stats than that? I'll give you a hint. The answer is 0. The worst defense in the entire league resides in good old Tampa Bay.
Well, I'm going to give it to Jason Licht, the GM, who's been there since 2014. Good job putting together defense. There's the door. Dirk Cutter, the coach. Get out of here. Jameis Winston, maybe the quarterback. Get out of here. Fitzpatrick at least could be like They need to draft a quarterback too.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just an absolute mess.
Oh my Lord! Yeah, it's not getting any better for Tampa Bay fans.
And no, we're not done with the city of Tampa Bay yet. That's coming back more in baseball.
Oh my goodness!
In an epic way.
This is a city of pain.
Oh, this is a city of absolute pain.
Yeah. So for football, amazingly, that's all the people we found to fire. There are other teams that are thoroughly wretched at the moment, but we're giving them a pass, like San Francisco, since they lost their 1 and 2 quarterbacks.
The Giants coach will give another year. They're playing a bit better now.
Patricia,
Detroit first year. We kind of see what happens.
Give St. Patricia a chance.
Golden Tate got traded. You know what? I'm not going to say fire Detroit's GM yet, but like you have to have a vision. You're either going for it or you're going for the future, right? 1 week, they made a trade for this year and traded for big run-stopping defensive tackle Damon Harrison from the Giants. The next week, they traded Golden Tate for a draft pick. That would be like going into the NHL trade deadline and trading a high draft pick for a guy to get you, a 4th-round pick, I guess. It'd be like trading a draft pick to get a guy to get you in the playoffs. And then a week later saying you traded your mind and trading one of your better players to get a draft pick instead.
Absolutely.
What's your sense of direction? Where are you going with this? And then, by the way, Marvin Jones on IR for the year now. So now with Tate traded and Jones on IR, Stafford went from a deep receiving unit to he's got no one left to throw to.
Nope. And they also lost good old Kerryon Johnson there.
Oh, man.
He's gone too.
Yeah, they're done. They are so done.
Oh, and now that you bring up amazingly intelligent GM trades like that, how about just to pile a bit more on Green Bay? How about them trading away, Clinton Dix?
Yeah, that was a great move. we're making a run for the playoffs, so let's trade our best safety because we won't get him back next year.
Let's trade away the only good defensive player we have for, what, a 6th-round pick?
The second last round.
Heavens to make a trade. Yeah.
Like, really, you're better off going the rest of the year with them than having nothing.
Speaking of vision.
What, you're going to replace him with the 6th-round pick?
Not this year, not. Whew. All right, we've beaten up on the NFL enough. It's time to put a pack of ice on this black eye we've given them. How about we go to the NHL?
Hey, fantastic.
I think there's people there that need to be fired.
Oh, there's people that need to be fired there.
How about we start with Florida? We're going to do a fire and hire here, actually.
Yes, we're doing a fire and hire, yes.
Oh, goodness, we must be getting soft here. It must be good the Christmas season. So in Florida, we're going to fire their coach, Bob Bugner, the boogeyman.
And as you said, we'll send someone else to do it.
Oh, I ain't going
so he doesn't beat the crap out of us.
I ain't telling him he's fired.
But we've got a replacement for him.
You, intern, tell boogeyman he's being fired.
You go tell him. Yeah. Like right now.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Just put this bubble wrap around your head.
We have medical.
Yeah.
So we're firing the coach of the Florida Panthers, Bob Bugner.
Have some decent young talent there. General Manager Dale Talon, who originally built Chicago to become a perennial Stanley Cup contender.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you remember the coach he hired to become who he appointed as head coach when he started in Chicago to make this dynamic run before Chicago ousted him out the door?
I think his name rhymes with Smallville. Quenneville?
Quenneville. Well, he's won.
He's won 3 Stanley Cups.
Like 3 times.
But he got fired. Because that's not enough, I guess.
No.
He's out of a job.
With 3 Stanley Cups?
3 Stanley Cups.
He's out of a job.
No job.
And all these other clowns are working.
All working.
Wow. I think you should go to Florida and work for Talon again.
And team up with his old GM.
Yes.
Let's make Florida Panthers great again.
Hear, hear.
Bob Bugner, you're out. Joe Quenneville, you got a job again. 2 for 1 in Florida. All right. Sticking in Edmonton. Ooh, your most favoritist GM of all time, being a Boston Bruin fan.
You know what's weird? Favoritist and yet not favoritist. Peter Chiarelli. I'll always be grateful for the fact he brought my beloved Bruins a Stanley Cup in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember we talked about this when we left Boston, and you kind of thought I was crazy, but you're seeing now.
I remember saying that. You're crazy.
Actually, you did. I was like, no, hear me out. But it has actually come to fruition in Edmonton. Peter Chiarelli, over the long term, cannot manage the salary cap. Because he built a great team in Boston to get to the Cup, but then it was a couple years after, they were in salary cap hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the cap was a mess there.
Oh, yeah.
Then he went to Edmonton, and what's the problem in Edmonton right now?
Salary cap.
Is a mess.
Oh, yeah. It's their top 5 in salary. And the record is 10, 11, and 2, and they missed the playoffs last year. Good job.
Well done.
Good job. Bottom 5 team, top 5 salary. That's how you build a team.
If you ever hire Peter Chiarelli as GM, it should be with a 2-year contract.
It should just be with a 6-month contract.
Yeah, just something absolutely unprecedented. Let him turn around your team and get him out the door while he can still add to it.
Yeah, I give him 6 months. That's like October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, that's it. You keep him until March, then fire him because you don't need him for the playoffs no more.
No. Well, you give him a couple years until you have to extend the young players he drafted, like even well before that, and then you got to get him out the door.
Oh, you are generous. It must be Christmas time.
Yeah, either way, we agree. He's got to go quick. Peter Chiarelli gone.
Oh, he's got to be gone. Next in the NHL, you want a player fired from the St. Louis Blue.
Oh, yeah, because we were talking coaches. But your boy O'Reilly there, the cooler.
Ryan O'Reilly, the cooler.
O'Reilly. Like Mike Yeo got fired, and you called it before this year started. Yep. The Blues will sink because everywhere this guy goes, he's the Carmelo Anthony of the NHL. Teams get worse.
Exactly right. Everywhere Ryan.
No matter what his stats are, his teams get worse.
His teams get worse.
Hey, what's Buffalo doing this year without him?
Oh, wow. Lo and behold,
they're second in the East.
Buffalo is second in the East, 16-6-2.
Woo!
That's a pretty dramatic turnaround from a 6-16-2 that they were last year.
And St. Louis this year on the downfall.
Oh yeah,
with the arrival
of Ryan O'Reilly. 8-11-3.
The cooler.
The cooler.
The cooler.
And O'Reilly's former team as well, Colorado Avalanche. How are they doing? 13-6-4, number 3 in the Western Conference.
2 years ago, worst team in the league by far. With who is there?
Ryan O'Reilly.
Oh wow, the cooler.
The cooler. So yeah, wherever he goes, failure follows.
If he ever enters your casino, go running out the door.
Yeah,
just sprint.
Sprint. Whatever you've lost, be thankful. That's all you've lost.
I'd even leave my chips on the table. The ones I have left, I wouldn't even cash them in. I'd want to get out of there.
That's so bad luck. Those chips would kill you. They would kill you.
I mean, even if you cash them in to get your money back, you just get hit by a cab as soon as you ran out the door. Don't even bother.
And sadly, that's all we can fire for the NHL because it turns out they got to it before we could.
They were very proactive this year.
They've been firing so many people. Los Angeles fired coach. St. Louis fired Mike Yeo. Edmonton, Todd McClellan fired. Quenneville and Chicago fired. Like the NHL's been firing so many people, we can't even get to them.
No.
Although Hackstall in Philadelphia, the coach there.
Oh, the GM, vice president?
The GM went, Ron Hextall.
Yes.
But the coach, Hackstall.
Oh, yes.
Is still there.
For how long?
Yeah, he's probably going to be fired.
Excuse me.
The new GM, whoever it is going to want his own coach.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I don't blame him. 10-11-2, you're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is all for NHL firings. Next, let's go courtside. Hey, it's our agent.
Hey, we haven't fired him yet.
Today's the day.
It's the big day.
Today's the day.
I think he's listening. He let it go after one ring, and we're not even live.
Oh, you're so lucky.
It's like, whoa, hey.
Yeah, we're going to be calling him back as soon as this show's over.
Yeah.
Guess who else is being added to the list? All right. Before I was so rudely interrupted by our agent, it's the NBA. We got some people to fire there.
Oh, this is going to be a good time.
The first one is from my beloved Phoenix Suns. First-year coach Igor Kokoskov. I'm firing him purely because I can't even say his name.
Never mind the 4-14 record that goes with not saying his name.
Exactly. It's like you're a terrible coach. You got a terrible record, and you have an unpronounceable name. And seriously, he's Russian. Like, what does Russia know about basketball? It's like, if it was like a hockey team, or wrestling, fine, Russia. Like the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff. Boxing. They got good boxers, even though I think they're Ukrainian.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. I stand corrected. That's a good point.
Oops. Sorry, Ukraine.
Just put them in the way for the Ukrainians to spar against.
Yeah, exactly. But like basketball, they don't know anything about basketball, and so far Igor has proven it. Suns are 4-15, even though they have Devin Booker, one of the more promising young stars in the league, and they got DeAndre Ayton this year. Nothing, doesn't matter. It's still the same fail as last year. So yeah, whatever your name is, you're gone. You're fired. Cleveland.
Oh, a 2-for-1. So Ty Lue gets fired early in the year.
Absolutely.
And Larry Drew should replace him.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlanta has a better record than them, right? That's good.
Almost. They're the same.
And Atlanta has nothing.
No,
I mean, Cleveland doesn't have much, but they still have Kevin Love and some decent players. They should at least be better than Atlanta.
They should at least be like 500.
Not just that. I see a headline earlier on my phone.
Oh, wonderful.
About Jordan Clarkson trying to avoid double teams.
Oh.
I'm thinking, what kind of great strategy does Larry Drew have? Because Jordan Clarkson's getting double teamed. Doesn't that open up Kevin Love?
It should. And yet, 4-15 says it's not.
Larry Drew, you need to be the second guy canned on the same team before Christmas.
Before the 20-game mark.
Yes. Oh, boy. Wow.
Wow. From hero to zero. Just like that.
I didn't even know there was hero with him. Just straight up zero.
Actually, the hero met Cleveland.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no hero in Larry Drew.
I mean, they should have a losing record. They shouldn't be as bad as they are.
I thought 500. I thought they could be 500. Nope, that's too much to ask for.
Even if they didn't reach 500, I would have seen like 30 or 35 wins.
33, maybe over 2 seasons at the pace this is going.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of lack of pace, Chicago.
How long has Fred Hoiberg been failing there? I know they don't have a lot, but really, how long has he been failing there?
Too long.
Yes. Bye.
Once again, the Chicago Bulls are just a mere... They're the shadow of their former selves.
Well put.
Thank you. 5-16, this will inspire no one. I think Michael Jordan, right now, today, at, 50, whatever
would be their best player?
He would be their best player.
And that should say it doesn't fall on the coach, but they've been failing for so long that no. Bye, Fred.
He's their coach. Minnesota.
Tibbs.
At one point, Canada's team. Now they've terribly lost their Canadianism.
Yes. Tibbs has got to go. I just don't think he's a good fit with Towns and Wiggins. Maybe it's those players themselves, but I think they just need more of a players coach for guys like that.
Well, he wasn't a fit with Butler.
No, and that was his guy.
That was his guy.
That was his guy in Chicago.
That was my boy.
That was my boy.
Boy, stabbed me in the back. So if you can't even get along with your guy, then yeah, you can't get along.
No.
Thanks for coming out to the G League with you.
Put it this way. The LA Clippers are first in that conference with virtually no stars. He has Wiggins and Townsend. It's not even a playoff spot.
Hey, speaking of a team that's not in a playoff spot.
That's usually what gets you on this list.
Hey, there's a consistency here.
There is.
A consistency of inconsistency. If I said, I'm going to give you a brand new expansion team basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And on this team, though, I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to give you 2 players. I'm going to give you John Wall, and I'm going to give you Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to ask you, what will your record be at the end of the season? What would you say?
At this point of the season or at the end of the season?
At this point of the season.
I'm pretty sure I'd have more than 6 wins or whatever Washington has.
Oh, they got 8.
Whoa. I think I'd have more than 8.
They're 8-12.
8-12.
With those 2 players, Beal and Wall, and you're 8-12. Like, at a minimum, 12-8.
Yes.
Would be a minimum.
Yeah.
A minimum. If not more than that. Milwaukee Bucks, they have one guy. Antetokounmpo. Somehow I can pronounce that guy's name. They have one guy, and they're 14-6. One man. One man. Washington have 2 stars.
They're under 500.
They're under 500. Heavily under 500. So, yeah, Scott Brooks with the Bullets.
Same guy who underachieved in Oklahoma City with Durant and Westbrook. And Harden.
The consistency continues. As you said, it's not always good to be consistent.
No.
Thanks for coming out, Scott Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all the firings that we're going to be doing in the NBA. You'll probably say to yourself, wait, but what about the Hawks? We can't fire the Hawks.
You got to have something to coach.
Yeah, there's nothing to coach.
You can't put out a JV league team and expect it.
Yeah, that's just cruel. The fact they have 5 wins at all is actually something of a coaching miracle.
I don't even know who their coach is.
That's a coaching of the year candidate right there. So we're giving you a pass because you can only make chicken salad Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go no further.
You can still put lipstick on a pig, but it's just a pig with lipstick.
Oh, dear. Wise, sage words.
Thank you.
Well, now that we've left blood and destruction in the NBA,
Blood and destruction.
let's see if we can take a bit of shine off of the diamond in baseball.
Oh, yes.
Let's go to baseball. How about baseball?
Baseball, we have a variety of people just go on.
We're going to do some firings, but remember, there's no crying in baseball.
No.
So we're going to fire you. You can't cry.
No.
Take it like a man. What's the first one we're going to fire? Somebody in Baltimore?
Oh, yeah. I know Buck Showalter is a respected baseball mind.
Respected.
Yeah,
isn't everybody in baseball respected?
Respected, yes. Everyone is. And I know they had no talent there.
Uh-huh.
But there's a fine line when you're 61 games out of the division lead. Yeah, it's over for Buck Showalter in Baltimore for me.
They had 47 wins. They have batters who get more home runs than that.
Yeah. We were joking about that during the season. There were batters with more home runs.
Yeah, it's like there's one thing Baltimore can do is they can hit home runs. They can't pitch, but they can hit home runs. So yeah, it's like if a team has home run power and yet you're still not able to generate enough runs to win or have a competent enough staff to keep your game in it, that's coaching.
I'm actually wondering how many teams had 47 wins by the All-Star break last year.
Well,
Baltimore was not one.
They were not. So yeah, Buck Showalter, you've been great. You're great no more. Thanks for coming out.
That's right.
Next, we're going to basically take our scythe and slash it throughout the entire AL Central.
Except for Cleveland.
Yeah, we missed them. They're too short.
They're too good. They win.
Everyone else is standing tall, proud.
We didn't even bother taking names, just the whole division.
The whole division.
The
Minnesota,
whole division.
Detroit, Chicago, Kansas City. You're all fired.
Front office, manager, like...
Everything. This was... When we did our baseball preview show last year, we were already afraid for this division because we saw that Detroit had no pitching, Chicago had no anything, and Kansas City pretty much gave away anything that they had of value.
Yes.
So we figured this division was going to be bad, and boy, did they ever prove us right.
Did they not? They did not disappoint in disappointing us.
Yeah, very good, very well done, very good. Only Cleveland finished with over 500. All the other four teams, Minnesota, second place with a 78 and 84 record. That is unbelievable. All the other four teams were under 500. That is the only division in which this has happened. Only one over 500 team. So yeah, Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago White Sox, KC, as Donald Trump would say,
you're fired.
You're fired. Money.
Oh. Just awful.
That is abysmal. Next people to be fired.
I would go with Angels GM Billy Epler because we got two main events coming up.
Yeah, how do we ever? Yeah, he's got to go.
You can't build around Mike Trout.
Yeah, Mike Trout, again, finished, I think, second in MVP voting, which is amazing. This is a 67 and 95 team. Like, how is anyone on such a pitiful team even considered as MVP?
Technically, this team's on the mainland on the West Coast, but Mike Trout's on an island.
Yeah.
Somewhere by himself.
He's basically talking to a volleyball called Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is definitely a castaway.
Disguised as Albert Pujols.
Yeah, this team has made so many gargantuan mistakes. Pujols being one of them, with that ridiculously horrible long contract. Hamilton, didn't they sign him to some horrifyingly massive deal?
Yeah, that was right? Brutal.
I don't even think he's in baseball anymore.
No.
Yeah. Good job there. And, yeah, pitching. Yeah, no pitching staff whatsoever. So bad that they go and sign Shohei Ohtani who's a pitcher / home run hitter. And he instantly became their staff ace.
Yes.
In the first year. Japanese player, first year in North America, bang, staff ace.
Until he hurt his arm.
Yep. And even then, I think he still finished with a better record than every other pitcher they have.
I'm sure he did.
Unbelievable. So yeah, Billy Epler, you're gone. Yeah, next we have we have Texas.
Oh, I forgot about them. Yes.
Yeah. You didn't think I was going to fire this guy,
No,
but
I forgot about this one. Yeah,
I am definitely firing him. Chris Woodward.
And he hasn't even managed his first game yet.
Hasn't even managed a single game. So why am I firing? Because I looked at his bio on the Texas Rangers homepage, and it sucks. It mentions nothing that he is actually the Texas Rangers coach. This is the amazing part. It's like, I went to see, well, how long has this guy been coaching? Because I never heard of this fool before. And when I read his bio, there's nothing here telling me that how long he's actually been coaching this team. It talks about that he coached he's a coach of the LA Dodgers. He's in his third season with the Dodgers, third season as infield coach. Prior to joining LA, he was 3 years with the Mariners. Then he was with every team except the Texas Rangers that he's currently with. You have a crappy bio, so for that alone, I'm firing you. Gone. Chris Woodward, thanks for coming out.
That is a bold, aggressive call.
You have a lousy, it's like having a bad resume. You got a bad resume, you ain't getting the job. Chris Woodward ain't getting this job. Gone.
Fantastic.
All right. Washington. You want to go to Washington?
Oh, Dave Martinez, 82 and 80 with that stock lineup?
Yeah.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
I don't think you have to add much more.
Nope.
I know Bryce Harper was disappointed this year, but Max Scherzer, Bryce Harper, Strasburg, they'd even finally built up the bullpen. You have all this talent, 82 and 80.
Yeah. That is embarrassing.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you're gone. And yeah, so
we got two more yet.
Got
two more big ones.
Pittsburgh.
Go.
Do it.
Ray Searage, the pitching coach. This one caught my attention. With our esteemed friend here, Lamond, a huge Pittsburgh Pirate fan.
Mm-hmm.
One of his big complaints, he has a severe hate on for Garrett Cole.
Do I ever hate Garrett Cole?
Garrett Cole just massively disappointed him in Pittsburgh.
He betrayed my Pirates, and then he betrayed my fantasy team.
And then I mentioned in the offseason, when Garrett Cole went to Houston, I think you'll have a big year because Houston's pitching coaches and their technology, they actually improve pitchers.
I still haven't forgiven you for saying that.
It's the truth, though. I wasn't trying to hurt you.
I hate you.
You're welcome. Anyways, I mentioned this. So as this goes on, Cole has his monster year in Houston. Not just does he have a monster year in Houston, during the playoffs, I believe it was John Smoltz, who's maybe the most astute commentator in baseball. I think it was him talking about the pitching philosophy in Pittsburgh and Houston and the difference. Because when I was thinking Houston, I was thinking video work, which was the big thing with Jason Verlander the year before. And talking about how in Houston, it's more of a...
Aren't they the ones that the Cardinals were like stealing video from?
Yes. Talking about... so apparently talking about how Houston has more of a north-south approach to pitching, up and down, and Pittsburgh had more of an east and west, corners of the plate, and how it made a huge difference with Cole. But it wasn't just Jason Cole, Garrett Cole, we noticed. We started noticing that when David Archer went there from Tampa Bay, he didn't improve. He actually went down.
Yep.
And we noticed when they traded their prospect, Tyler Glasnow, for him, he improved a bit. Ray Searage, who, did you say on the Pirates website was regarded as one of the top pitching coaches
on the Pirates website, written by a Pirates intern, funded by the Pirates.
One of the top pitching coaches in baseball.
Saying that he's regarded as one of the top pitching coaches in Major League Baseball.
Probably by himself.
Well, you know what? I'm also regarded as one of the top broadcasters in all the sports. I wrote that myself in crayon.
Yeah!
Book it, Dano.
Ray Searage. See you later. I think you'll actually be back next year, much to your consternation.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
You know what equally consternates me? the guy who's cutting Siraj's checks. And that would be Pittsburgh Pirates owner Robert Nutting.
He needs to be fired.
He needs to be fired for two reasons. One, for like basically destroying a proud Major League Baseball franchise, an original 6 level franchise. But also the fact that he should also be fired for his financial incompetence. The Pittsburgh Pirates franchise is worth $1.2 billion.
He is worth $1.1 billion.
Do the math. Pirates are worth 1.2. He owns them, and he's worth 1.1. That means if the Pirates were gone, he'd be $100 million in the hole.
Well done, man. Well done.
Good job, Robert Nutting.
10th richest owner in Major League Baseball, won't buy talent. He's a financial failure outside of baseball.
This is just like the quote that Warren Buffett, famed investors, famous for saying when people ask him, what's the easiest way of making $1 million? And he says, start with $2 million.
Oh, nice.
This is what our
Robert Nutting is obviously taking this to a new level.
He is sitting at the feet of the master on that one. Attaboy, Nutting.
He's showing the master how it's done on that one.
Take $1.2 billion and turn it to
$1.1 billion.
Attaboy. Gee, I wonder why the Pirates are horrifying every year.
And one more firing. It's a mass firing.
It's a big one.
Tampa Bay baseball fans.
You're fired.
You're fired. Move the team to Montreal.
All 6,000 of you. You're gone.
Gone. You're out of here. You're out at the plate.
So seeing all these empty seats disguised as fans in Tampa Bay is finally getting to you?
Oh, I've wanted to say this for a while, but since we're doing a firing edition today, it was the perfect time to touch on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tampa Bay, and the fact that Tampa Bay Rays are actually a good baseball team, over 90 wins, and yet still no fans.
Oh, I had one last epic firing.
Oh, I love epic firings.
Vince McMahon.
Oh, we're going to the wild world of wrestling.
Vince McMahon. Look at this. For anyone who's a wrestling fan, look at the WWE product on Raw and SmackDown right now. Mm-hmm. Very questionable at best. Mm-hmm. And look how well NXT's doing under Triple H. Mm-hmm. Extremely well. Now, let's look at all the people who've done great in NXT who have floundered in WWE since they've reached the main rosters. Some of them may have even had success and floundered. Some may have just floundered. But nonetheless, you can see they're used by their maximum to their maximum at one level. And when they get there under the so-called genius, they've disappointed.
Yep.
Asuka, The Ascension, who are the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions ever. Shinsuke Nakamura, huge in NXT, huge star in Japan.
Yep.
Bobby Roode, The Revival, Finn Balor, a.k.a. Prince Devitt when he's in Japan. Sasha, Bayley, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and, National Dave Martinez from another. So all of them have epically underachieved, mainly due to the booking and the way they're used.
And there are some, like Kevin Owens, who, like last year, had a good year, had a good run, was world champ. But this year, he has fallen hard. Mm-hmm. Don't even see him anymore.
No, he's hurt, so is Sami Zayn. But see, even before injuries.
Yeah, but even before injuries, basically as soon as he lost his title, that was pretty much it. Same thing with actually Sasha and Bayley, is that at first Sasha in the beginning was in the mix. Was in the mix. She was actually quickly rose to one of the top, 5-6 wrestlers in the women's division.
I'd even say top 3.
Yep,
because I would say it was her, Becky, and Sasha, and Charlotte were the top 3 at one point.
Yeah, and she became world champ. I think she was 3-time champ even.
Something like that, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the last time she lost her title, Sasha, she got into this weird one-day rivalry with Bayley.
I was saving that one. It's I knew it would come out, and it was that goes right there. I don't know if that picks up on the microphone or not, but that was...
Apparently the body gasped at my commentary.
And not your commentary, the accuracy of your commentary, what you said.
The accuracy of Sasha's plummeting career.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and then speaking of Bayley, she also had the same thing where she just kind of showed up one day on Raw, and then it almost felt like she accidentally was given the title because she quickly lost it again and never again had another shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's just kind of like directionless, really.
Mm-hmm. But it's like Finn Balor. He came out and he's Universal Champion. He got hurt.
Yep.
Since he got back, I think he's had one title shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And he's been losing mid-card matches left and right.
Yeah, so let that be a lesson to you, kids. Don't get hurt.
No.
You get hurt, you're never coming back from that. So, yeah, so...
Look how great the revival was in NXT, and even when they first got to WWE, and now they're just floundering.
Yeah, floundering. Don't even hear anything of them.
No.
That's very true. Because, yeah, NXT is definitely like a winning show. Fans love it. NXT pay-per-view shows do exceptionally well every time out.
I know you don't get paid as much in NXT, but I wonder if you're going to have the first guy who's like, you know what? I don't want to call up.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's actually going to be someone there, you know what? No, I'm good right here.
I wonder if we'll ever get to a point where, ironically, NXT becomes
the main show.
The main show, and the other two feed it. Ooh.
It is a much better product, and it has been for a long time now.
It has been.
This hasn't been recent. This has been, like 2 or 3 years now, easy.
Yeah. No, the main show, especially in the last few weeks,
awful.
Yeah, just not good.
No direction, questionable booking, highly immoral decision making.
Yeah,
whether it be booking and exploiting like a leukemia storyline, which is a real life thing, or the Saudi Arabia decision, just awful.
Nothing but fail. So yeah, Vince McMahon,
you're fired.
You're fired. And lastly, on the firing line, one last kick at footy, because why not kick football players? Real Madrid. You know them, you love them, you heard of them. They're a 100-year-old team. They play in a 100,000-seat stadium. They have all the money in the world. God goes to them for a loan. They have players like Gareth Bale, #1 player on the Welsh national team. They have Karim Benzema, one of the top goal scorers in
well, you started with Real Madrid and you're coming back to Paulo and Amora. This should be good.
Yeah. Karim
they're the only ones in the show getting an encore appearance.
Oh, it's like number one there, Karim Benzema on the French national team, even though he tried to blackmail his own teammate, Ribéry, a couple of years back. Good job, Benzema.
That's a teammate.
They got defender Sergio Ramos, #1 in the Spanish national team. They had Keylor Navas, one of the best goalies in the world, top 5 goalie. So what do? They go get another top 5 goalie. Chelsea's Courtois. Why? Because they have so much money and don't know what to do with it.
Now, I don't know as much about the beautiful game as I do about others. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking the beautiful game is not like the 1980s NHL where, you split goaltending duties. Mm-mm. It's more like the modern NHL, if not even more geared toward your starter playing more.
Oh, yeah. You have one starter, and he plays all of your big matches. Your backup, the only time you even think about putting that guy in is when you have like a League Cup game against like a team from the 4th division.
So like barely more than an NFL backup quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Then and only then, if you're playing a super weak team from a completely different division that your junior players should be able to beat, that's when you let your backup play.
So this is like having a top 5 NFL quarterback and going out and getting another top 5 NFL quarterback.
Basically, this is the Patriots with Tom Brady there, and they just went and got Brendan Rodgers too. Why not? Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, why not? Let's have both on the same team.
Wow. That's amazing.
So that's what Madrid did by having both Keylor Navas and Courtois on the same team. Is you have Brady and Rodgers on the same team. Good job, Madrid. So despite having all of these like all-star players, the entire team is just an all-star team. They're currently 6-5-2. 6 wins, 5 losses. Madrid having 5 losses for an entire season is like a scandal on its own and worthy of a coach being fired. 5 after 11 games, that's like pretty much the entire city of Madrid falling into a sinkhole and never coming back. So they've already fired one coach. They're starting. Well, last year's coach quit. Ronaldo left the team. Their first coach this year, Lopetegui, he'd been fired twice actually already this year.
Twice this year?
Yeah, he was coach of the Spanish national team for the World Cup.
Oh, I remember that whole thing.
But just before Spain played their first game of the World Cup, he also signed a contract with Real Madrid.
Yeah, he got fired because of like the way he went about taking this job.
Yeah.
That he immediately got fired from.
So he gets fired from the Spanish national team for taking on the Madrid job. And then, about 8 games into it, he gets fired from the Madrid job.
When this boy does something, he does it to the absolute maximum potential he can do it.
Absolutely. If you're going to get fired, you're going to get fired right. So he got fired. So they brought in basically a temporary interim coach who was supposed to be just a temporary interim. But then he won about 3 games in a row. And they're like, okay, we're going to take away the interim tag. He's now a full-time coach.
Oh, yes.
The very next game, they played Eibar.
And this is the one they got slammed by Eibar.
3-0. Thanks for coming out, Real Madrid. So you fired coaches. You've bought players you didn't even need to buy. Basically, the players all need to be fired. All of them. The entire Real Madrid team.
Earlier you were calling for the coach, and now the
Well, I was calling for Benfica's coach. He still needs to be fired. Yeah, so now it's Real Madrid. Their entire players, they all need to be fired because they're all sucking. They're all disgraceful. Yeah. And it shows in the whiteness of the jersey they wear. Because if they were actually trying, that jersey would be filthy at the end of the game, and it's not. It's pristine. Real Madrid, you're all fired.
Kind of get the sense if all of them were separate and scattered all over the place, they'd probably play well again, but just together, it's not.
It's not working.
Not working.
Nope. So Real Madrid players, you're all fired. And that is our firing edition. We have fired all the people that we want to fire.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing left to do is to come up with our epic and our suck of the week.
Yes.
One thing this week we found epic, and the one thing we found
we kind
sucked.
of agreed on both these, actually.
Yeah, we actually stayed in the world of footy, some soccer teams here, and we have both an epic soccer team and a suck soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
The epic comes from Bolivia, Spanish-speaking nation, and their best, strongest soccer team is called the Strongest.
Nothing else but the Strongest.
The Strongest, that's it. And Bolivia, Spanish-speaking country with 0 English whatsoever in the country, and yet their top team is called, literally in English, the Strongest.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Oh yeah, the Strongest. Well, they actually have a home ground, the Rafael Mendoza Castellon, which is 15,000 seats. But this team is so strong, they're not good enough to play in their own stadium. They go play in Bolivia's national stadium, like 100 miles away, which seats 42,000 people.
They're so strong, but yet not brave enough to figure out to build out their own 42,000 seat stadium. Math not invited to this party because it's all about being the Strongest.
The Strongest. So that's my epic of the week, is Bolivia's finest soccer team, the Strongest.
My epic suck is a team name, actually. It was a Swiss team, you said?
The Swiss team.
The Young Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you're talking about kids, hey, the Young Boys over there, that's fine in that.
Uh-huh.
When you're talking about a whole bunch of established men and you just stick the Young Boys in there, just a whole bunch of wrong thoughts just start sadly going through my mind.
So the fact that today Manchester United beat up on the Young Boys?
Yes, exactly. When you put it, it's things like that. It just sounds so wrong.
Pardon?
Manchester United beat the Young Boys. Excuse me? What just happened?
Say what?
Say what? Should we call for, like, I don't know, some law enforcement or something?
Has a Department of Child and Safety or something?
Yeah, like I just get some disturbing imagery in my head. I don't know. I don't think that's a very appropriate name for a professional soccer team. The Young Boys.
And they're very proud of their name because their logo is literally a giant Y and a giant B. Young Boys.
The Young Boys. I don't know. That's just a bunch of disturbing imagery ran through my mind. And I'm just like, especially since it's the Epic Suck, I'm just...
Young Boys, you are the suck of the week.
Yeah.
And with that, that is our show. We have fired. We also did some hire.
One.
Yeah, we hired one, and
hold on. 1, 2.
We fired about 30. Plus all 6,000 fans of the Tampa Bay Rays.
So we fired about 6,030 today. Yeah. And hired one.
Well done. That's a good ratio.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Wait till the Christmas show.
So that is our show for this week. Thank you all for listening. Please remember to subscribe and like our channel and our videos. And once again, Body, thanks for another great show.
Been a pleasure, mine.
And thank you again all for listening to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast.